I am not the biggest guy on social media, and some people would even call me skinny. But here's the thing, unlike other influencers, I don't take drugs, I don't have good genetics, and I've struggled my whole entire life with my weight. In fact, of all the genes that promote obesity, I have all of them, so I'm not exactly programmed to be skinny. And I'm not here to complain about genetics, as I think that's no excuse for your size, your strength, or your physique, but I just want to let you know that I get it. I know what it's like to be on a diet program and after a few weeks fall off, or to always have this food focus that no matter how much you eat, you're always hungry again. I've been through it all, and along the way, I've documented everything. I've done all the hormone tests, I've dove deep into what causes obesity, and in this video, I'm going to break down the exact program that I would use if I was starting all over again, and it's broken down into 3 simple steps. If you are ready to be in the best shape of your life by this summer, then it's time to hop into step number 1 of this 3-step program. What I've found is that you need 2 important things for you to lose weight, and that's going to be that you need a diet that is convenient and satiating. And I know this diet will work for you because it tackles both convenience and satiety. All the meals that I make are not fancy, they're not overcomplicated, and they really don't look that good if you try and put it on a TikTok post. But what I can guarantee you is this: they will be under 10 minutes or less, and they will make you feel full for a very long time. So I'll walk you through my day of eating now so you can get a better understanding of how you can apply this to your life. Meal number 1 is going to be high protein and high fat. And I like to eat this meal within about 1 hour of awaking because it feels like you get a natural shot of Ozempic. For me, this is going to be a feast. It's usually my largest meal of the day. I'll eat somewhere between 5 to 7 eggs, some Greek yogurt, coffee, and maybe a little bit of honey on those eggs. And it's very simple. You just get yourself a pan, throw in a little bit of coconut oil or butter into it, turn it to medium-high heat, and crack those eggs into the pan. Cook them up and cook them however you want to. I scramble them up in the pan, and then I take them out, put a little bit of honey on there, get a little Greek yogurt on the side, and then if I really want to get fancy, I'll add a little bit of kimchi for that good gut health, if you know what I'm saying. And if you're interested in numbers, I want you to get about 40 to 50 grams of protein within this first meal, and your fat intake can really be between 30 to 40 grams. Carbohydrates, you want to keep this a little bit smaller, and I'll get it more into that rule later. Meal number 2 is going to be high protein and high carbohydrate. This is usually my lunchtime meal, and it's also my pre-workout meal. It'll look something like this. I like to have ground beef and potato, or ground beef and rice, something very, very simple. I take this meal and I make the ground beef. I just ground it up, put a little bit of sauce in there. I really salt it because I'm pretty Spartan. I don't like a lot of flavor. And then I usually have either a microwave potato, which takes 6 to 8 minutes to cook, or at some point during the week, at maybe a dinner time, I'll end up boiling a giant pot of potatoes and just keep that in the fridge the rest of the week, and I just grab it and throw some potatoes into this meal. And to make this very simple meal, which is just beef, potatoes, and salt, if I want to add in a little bit of variety in taste, I just throw in maybe a different type of sauce, whatever I'm feeling. If I'm thinking I want a burger bowl, I'll throw in a little bit of ketchup and mustard. If I want something that's like Japanese, I'll throw in some Japanese barbecue sauce, or if I want to do something Mexican, I might put in a little bit of taco seasoning. And I wanted you to keep in mind that you want to keep the base of the meal the same. The base of the meal never changes, but that sauce you can change up every day. You can have 7 different sauces and eat, theoretically, something different every day, but at the end of the day, you're eating the same food, beef and potatoes. That is why that meal is so powerful. And for meal number 3, it'll either be a high protein, high carb meal, like lunchtime, or it'll be a high protein, high fat meal. And this is where I get into the rule a little bit that you never want to mix fat and carbohydrate together just to keep the energy density down. An example dinner is going to be a lean protein source, such as like a chicken breast or some ground beef again, a sirloin steak, or maybe even a pork chop or fish. You'll take that protein source and then you'll add in some root vegetables, sweet potatoes, carrots, onions, beets, really any other type of leafy green if you want that instead, maybe asparagus or spinach. And again, this meal takes 10 minutes to cook. And a pro tip, you can cook more at once and have it like say 3 to 4 pounds of beef. You can cook that up and take the leftovers and put it in the fridge, and then just the next day you have lunch and you have dinner already ready to go. It is that easy. All you gotta do is throw it back into the microwave. So the beauty of this method is that you're not gonna need to track calories. Should you focus on the right foods, you never have to put yourself into a prison again. With that in mind though, it's always important to have some type of rules for you to remember. I'm gonna give you 5 here that you can remember and staple on your board, and this, I promise you, will shred fat like nothing you've ever tried before. Rule number 1 is going to be to have structure. I want you to eat within a set window. And for me, I aim to eat between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. When it's dark out, I usually don't like to eat unless I'm drunk at 2 a.m., but that doesn't happen often anymore. And rule number 2 is going to be to have protein first. At every meal, I want the cornerstone, the prize jewel of your plate to be that big hunk of protein. Eat that and eat it first. Rule number 3 is fats or carbs, but never both. And I say this not for any specific reason other than it just keeps your energy density down. It keeps you from having a ton of calories at once. And really this rule is designed for when you go to eat at restaurants. Let's say you go out to a restaurant and you want to have a ribeye steak, right? Instead of having a ribeye and a baked potato, I want you to have ribeye and asparagus. Likewise, if you say, I really want this baked potato, well then opt for a leaner protein instead. Get the chicken breast. Rule number 4, I want you to keep it simple. I don't want you going on these crazy diet pages or these trending recipes coming through on your Facebook post. You don't need all that. You just need whole foods. And I just want you to enjoy these high satiating foods. And I promise you won't have to look at those pages again. Rule number 5 is that I want you to choose gratitude over guilt. I want you to let go of the guilt when you're eating. At any moment, take a minute and to sit down in gratitude and say thank you. And that's all you have to do. And from there, everything else will take care of itself. I will say that it breaks my heart to see bigger people thinking that they need to suffer to lose weight, from running on the treadmills to being in the gym all the time, to always doing these crazy HIIT classes, 6-minute abs. Y'all don't need all that, all right? I've been there and it's not gonna get you the results that you're actually after. So I've written this plan and it's very, very simple. You're gonna be in the gym for less than 3 hours per week and you don't have to do any of that bullshit. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to run. You don't have to kill yourself. You're gonna train like a big guy should, not like a marathon runner, and this will get you the physique that you're truly after. The basis of this program is to get the most amount of results in the least amount of time possible. This is also a training method called minimalist training. And the biggest takeaway is that you wanna push your workouts with high intensity over high volume. And with this being upper day, we're gonna be hitting back, chest, and arms. So we're gonna start off the workout with back, and that's gonna be weighted pull-ups. But if you cannot do pull-ups yet, stick to lat pull-downs or inverted rows, alternatively known as fat man rows. You're gonna do 2 sets between 6 to 10 reps. And in those first 2 sets, you're gonna take your intensity not all the way to failure. You're gonna try and aim to it where you leave a couple in the tank. But on that very last set, the 3rd set, I want you to go all out and leave nothing. Go as hard as you can and make sure that you fail to where you cannot do 1 more rep. Next, you'll move into your first compound movement for chest. This is gonna be your incline barbell press or an incline dumbbell press. And again, it's gonna be this 2 sets between 6 to 10 reps. With those 2 sets, the very first 2 that you do, within about 6 to 10 reps, but leaving a little bit of room in the tank, on that very last set, the 3rd set, go all the way to failure. Leave nothing behind. 3rd is gonna be a seated overhead press. This can be, again, barbell or dumbbell. And like I said earlier, we're gonna stay between that 6 to 10 rep range for 3 sets. But on that last one, you're gonna go all out once more. Coming back to back, we'll go into cable rows. And you can do this with being overhand, neutral grip, or underhand, whatever's available to you and what equipment you have. It's gonna be 3 sets, again, 6 to 10 reps. Finally, we're gonna do a little bit of a superset with arms. We're gonna do dumbbell curls, and then we're gonna superset with dips. And if you can't do dips, do a bench dip. With your curls, again, we're gonna do 3 sets. For those first 2 sets, you're gonna do just basic. I'm gonna get into that rep range, gonna hold it, feel my connection to it. And then on the 3rd set, go all the way to failure and leave nothing behind. Now you will see this workout is very simple. There's nothing fancy about it. But each week you will be progressing and you'll go through a method called double progression to where you'll increase your weight and you will increase your reps at the same time. As you progress, let's say that you get 3 sets of 8 on incline press at 200 pounds. When you get all 8 reps for all 3 sets, you then will move the weight up to about 210 pounds and start over to where you're getting about 3 sets of 6. From there, you keep progressing until you get all the way to the top of that rep range, and then you rinse and repeat and increase the weight. You do this to the end of time, and I guarantee you that within 5 years, you have gained 60, 80 pounds on all of your lifts, and your physique tells the difference as a result. This is the moment that changed everything for me. I'll take you back in time to September 2020, about 4 a.m., and I was in this cold, dark dungeon of a gym that I was lifting at. Yet that 4 a.m. was not a usual occurrence for me. I was up the night before just in tears because I had realized that I had $100 in my bank account. I was 286 pounds on the scale, and my girlfriend had just broken up with me. I felt all of the shame, I felt all of the guilt, the low self-worth, and the lack of potential that I was not realizing that I was living up to. I went through this workout, but I couldn't really get through it, so I went outside and I just decided to sit on the parking lot stump, the parking curb. I sat there and I just broke down. Every single emotion, everything that was bottled up came out of me. All of that self-esteem that I've gone through, all the identity, all the overeating, all the guilt, the depression, the anxiety, all came up at once. And in that moment, I made a deal. And I told God that if I was able to get out of this, I would spend the rest of my life telling other people how to do it. From that decision, it was as if a weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I 100% immediately decided and changed and realized that this was the mission and that I needed to walk as it. I got up and I went home. I found a plan, I set a vision, and I had an intention for what I wanted to be. Within the next few months, I lost 50 pounds and I completely changed everything from there. And the reason that I tell you that story is that in order to lose physical weight, you need to release some type of emotional weight that is holding you back. And let me explain how this really operates. If you think about it, fat is stored energy. Energy is an emotion. If you are carrying around a lot of excess body fat, there's a lot of excess emotions that are stored that have not been released yet. That is the connection between the mind and the body. And how do you know if this is going to be you? How do you know if you have these stored emotions? If you have a lot of unresolved trauma, if you have a lot of stress from your work being built up, or if you still have a lot of guilt over eating on foods and you feel shameful anytime you try and hide something and go to overeat it, or simply if you just feel that you cannot achieve, those are emotions that have to be released. And you'll notice that if you begin to release those, the physical weight is next to nothing. You naturally release it and you make that same progress I did of losing that 50 pounds in 6 months because you make a decision that you're going to release that emotional baggage. What is a tactical tool for you to do this? Well, I ended up spending a lot of time in self-analysis and meditation, but it didn't stop there in my own meditation self-analysis. I knew that I needed help. I ended up putting myself around the right people. I ended up having to drop some people that hold me back. I began to mold my environment to be conducive to fat loss. I also got the right workout partners, people who are aligned in the same mission and community online. And I also hired a coach because I knew that in order to make a true transformation happen, that I could not do it alone. And when I had that support system, it became effortless because I had completely changed both my mind and my environment to be conducive to my fat loss goals. All you gotta do is begin to unlock it and to release some of that stored emotion that you have on your body and put yourself around the right people, and you'll make any amount of progress that you want and make it as fast as you want to happen. Guys, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.